Alright, what's going on, guys? Downpack TV here for another video. So today, what we're going to show you guys is how to take your forks off a KTM in general. This pretty much applies for any bike, but today, the bike I'm going to be showing you is my bike, 2013 KTM 85 SX. So that's going to be our bike that we're going to be working on. But taking off forks, it's simple. Pretty much anyone could do it as long as you have some basic tools, and it goes pretty much with any bike, minus some trail bikes maybe or something, but mostly all motocross bikes are same thing in general. So how about we show you guys the tools you need, and then let's get started. Alrighty guys, we're back. So these are pretty much the tools that you will need to get your forks off your bike. First off, let's start off. We need a ratchet or an impact. Either one works. As you can see, 1/4 inch and 3/8. That's what I'll be using today. Then we also have two extensions, a 3/8 and a 1/4 inch extension. That's just preference, you don't need that. And then here we have a 17mm. Oops. Get you guys a little bit more focused up on stuff. 17 mil. They're gonna focus or not? I don't know if it will. There we go. 17mm. That's to get the front wheel off the bike. Then we have a. Let's see. You want to focus or not? We have here a 10mm. There we go. You can kind of see it there, but a 10mm. And then you also have an 8mm. So your front axle size may vary by bike. For example, mine's a 17, but just that. So basically this is it. And oh, don't forget your beverage of choice, of course. That's always very important. So how about we get started with the job. Alright guys, so basically we're gonna start off by removing our front wheel. And if you could see, well, the first thing we're going to do to take off the front wheel is loosen the brake side, or when you're looking at the bike from the front, the right side pinch bolts on the axle. So we're going to get our 10mm and loosen these up really quick. Some may be a little bit tighter, some may be a little bit looser, but they shouldn't be that hard. Careful you don't strip any bolts while doing this. So here we go, we just loosen them up a little bit, nothing too much. So, and then we're gonna grab, this varies on your bike, but at least for me, my bolt for my front axle is a 17mm. So we're gonna grab our 17mm and loosen this up. So you might wanna hold your bike, because mine's on a stand and that's one thing, make sure your bike's on the stand and make sure that it's where you want it and that it's not going to tip over or anything like that. We wouldn't want that happening. You can see my bike's being a little bit stubborn, so you might have to grab it. But regardless, the axle shouldn't be on too tight, so it shouldn't be that big of a problem. So right here, we're getting out the, I don't know what you would call it, I forgot the name right now, but the bolt that holds the axle in. So then we're going to switch back to our 8mm, and we're going to come over here, now to the other side. Let's get you guys readjusted. Loosen up those two pinch bolts as well. Here. Once again, they shouldn't be on there too tight. Loosen them a fair bit, and then this is where we could hopefully just get the end of our ratchet or whatnot and bump out the axle from the other end, and it should come out. Double check that all your pinch screws are on tight, that are loosened, excuse me. As you can see, mine's coming out, and simply might want to get a rag or something. For example, like we have here. just start prying at it. You can see, there we go. There we go. Just take it out. Move your front wheel. Make sure it comes out of the brakes. And set this aside, as we're gonna do right now. Always, guys, here's a tip. When you guys are setting down any wheel, front wheel or rear wheel, make sure, for example, the rear wheel, you always want to set it down on the sprocket side. Never lay it down on the brake side where the disc is, because that's something that's way more nimble. And for example, on the front wheel, you don't have anything minus the hub on the other side. So overall, it's just worth not taking the chance. Alright guys, now the next step right here, what we're gonna do is we're gonna loosen up the fork guards. You're gonna take them off. Right here we're doing the left side. Just take them off, make sure you set all the bolts someplace you won't lose them, because you know it always sucks to lose a bolt. So just take these off. Not a big deal. That one's a little bit tight, so let's get it back on with the ratchet. This one's being a little bit stubborn. So we got bolts, just throw them back in here and set them there, set them aside. So then we're gonna do the other side as well. Just gonna get our ratchet or wrench, whatever you're working with, and just simply take these off. Oops. Take them off. And that's why you want to make sure your bike is set someplace that's sturdy. Because if you see, my bike just leaned over. So I'll be right back. Let me readjust the bike and we'll be back at it. Alright guys, we're back. So as you can see, I loosened up the fork guard. And next thing, we're moving on to the brake caliper. So we gotta remove the brake caliper, and in order to do that, you need your 10mm again. There's gonna be a bolt right here. I'm not 100% if you could see that, but right there. And then there's gonna be the bolt right up here. Don't confuse it with your brake fluid hose or whatever you would call that, cause then you got air in your brakes if you decide to loosen that on accident. So make sure you grab your bike in a position so it won't move, and start cranking them out. Loosen one and just go. And loosen the other one. Now, yours necessarily wouldn't be this tight, but I've taken my caliper off before and I put a little bit of blue Loctite on it. So that's why they're a little bit tougher to get out. But at the end of the day, it's worth it so your caliper doesn't come loose while you're out riding. Just finish cranking this off, and we'll get back to you when we finish taking the caliper off. Alright guys, so once you take your two bolts out, you'll simply wiggle the caliper from side to side, and it should pop out just like that. And then you can move this whole assembly of, as you can see, you could just loosen it right up here. Let me see if I can get you guys a shot of it. Right up here you could just loosen this, but I decided to just leave it on. It wouldn't make much of a difference regardless. Just set this over to the side, and then I'll show you guys where you gotta loosen them up out of the triple clamp. Alright guys, so now we're gonna come over here to your triple clamp. As you can see, there's gonna be two bolts down here on the lower side, and then one top bolt right there, as you can see. So all you gotta do, loosen them up. And there's where the extension comes in, because it just makes everything longer so that it won't get in the way. Just loosen the top one and the bottom one, and loosen. Don't loosen on a little bit at a time. There we go. So now is the time that you gotta be careful to make sure that your fork doesn't fall, because some forks fit a little bit tighter. Sorry for the dog barking, by the way. Some forks fit a little bit tighter than others right here. As you can see, mine are pretty good. Like, they move a little bit, but they're not, they're not completely jammed in there, but they also don't fall out. They're a nice balance in between. And all you gotta do, simply try to just move it side to side, and just like that your fork should come out. And then you have yourself a fork leg. And just, later on, just come in here and set this down right here. Set your fork down someplace that it won't get scratched or damaged. Just the obvious. But make sure you clean up in here. You can see how this, see the camera focus, how this is all, dirty and stuff in there. Make sure you clean that up and stuff. You don't want that to be all nasty when you put them back in. So then we'll get to the other side and we'll show you the other side now. Alright guys, we're back. So now I have the camera in my hand, and since I'm a little bit tight on space here on this other side, pretty much all you gotta do, same thing as before. Loosen that top triple clamp bolt right there. Loosen these two bottom ones. Make sure that you have you're grabbing the fork leg so it just doesn't flop out and stuff. So yeah, and then simply it should just slide out. And since you have the caliper unmounted and stuff, there should be nothing attached to a fork leg. Unless, obviously check to make sure that you don't have anything right here that might interfere it coming out through the bottom here or whatnot. Maybe you have some wires and stuff that you gotta remove. But that's pretty much the whole job of removing fork legs off a bike. As you can see, I got that last one that we saw off. But since I'm a little bit tighter on space, can't show you guys this one. But same thing as before. Really easy job. Takes you 10-15 minutes maybe. Actually like 10 at the most, Simple job. But yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is Downpack TV signing off and wishing you guys luck with your bikes. Stay safe out there.